Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Fence Printer, SoundCloud, SoundClick, Instagram. It's your boy Tone 202 coming at you with another serious topic. And this is in light of what just happened in Florida, the shootings, and which is the largest terrorist act on American soil by a single person. And the fact that this dude was claiming ISIS. He was some kind of security guard, but I have been getting people to talk about the gun law and Obama wanting to take their guns and Sandy Hook, Columbine, and all of those stories that are just really, really, really terrible, where innocent people are just being killed by other people who just decide to go out and they want to, take somebody's life. The same thing with Virginia Tech and the Batman movie shootings and all that. If somebody else had a gun, then that person could be stopped. It's not necessarily true. See, the way I look at it is, if we add more guns, then there's just more chances of people getting killed. You know what I'm saying? Saying that if somebody else has a gun, and this is always somebody who defends the gun law, this is always their defense every single time. But I want to remind you people that, policemen have guns for a reason. And even when policemen show up, it doesn't necessarily mean that the shootings stop, the killing stops. You know what I mean? You're just hoping the cops can stop that individual, but sometimes it just doesn't happen like that. Sometimes they escalate a situation. As a matter of fact, more times than not, the cops being there because they have weapons can escalate a situation. Uh, um, there have been people who've been talked down to, put their guns down, and they survived. And case in point, before somebody says, no, that's not true. Case in point, last year there was two guys. There was a father and son, and a cop stopped the guy, and the son shot the cop, and then the father, he ended up shooting the cop too. Now, why they're both alive, I don't know. But nonetheless, they're both alive. But eventually, they put their guns down, and that's that. But there's been situations or hostage situations like this one in Orlando where they have got the shooter to put the guns down. So it's not impossible for the shooter to just stop shooting because, we all know that happens. But you guys are like, hey, if the victims had guns, then, there would be less carnage. I can see where you're going with that, uh, but it's just not always the case. It's not. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You want to put more guns on the street, more guns in people's hands. But nonetheless, the killings in America are going up. The killings in America are higher than any first world country, any other first world country. We have guns in our movies. We're constantly touting about guns in the movie. Our video games are violent as hell. I mean, they're horrifically violent. It's gotten to the point where I'm just like, why did we go to another planet and kill those people? Why, just because we had guns? I mean, it's getting ridiculous of how violent Grand Theft Auto is. And people are dying because of Grand Theft Auto. And that just happened last year. Guy died, Grand Theft Auto. We have the people going out, and this one guy thought he was Ninja Gaiden. Went out and cut some dude up with a doggone katana or a sword or Japanese sword or whatever in the heck that is. Listen, we push violence like no other country. We are constantly pushing violence. We are constantly at war with other countries. We've been at war with other countries for over 200 years because that's what we do. We believe the bigger the gun, the badder we are, but it's just not the case. See, the guns are being turned in on us. You know what I'm saying? Because we are the bullies of the world. We think we're the watchdog of the world, but that's not true. When you go, listen, somebody who's being a watchdog goes to a situation, quells the situation, and then leaves. That's not what we're doing. We go to a situation, occupy that situation, continue to kill people in that country and act like it's okay because we have the biggest guns on the planet. But see, that all comes back to you. There's blood on our hands, people. And this is a result of it. And that's just the facts. I mean, for you people who don't pay attention to what's going on outside of your front door, you need to just walk outside. You know what I'm saying? You need to turn on CNN. You know what I'm saying? You need to talk to some people and find out what's really going on. And like I said, I used to be a soldier. I was in the army, 20 years ago. But nonetheless, it's the same thing over and over and over, people. Listen, okay, for you people who are also saying put more guns on the street to protect people, you have been saying that for what, the last 30, 40 years? And there has been more and more and more and more guns on the street. And there has been more and more and more and more killings. And this whole argument about stopping Muslims, yeah, oh my God, you people have been listening to Donald Trump too long. Muslims, okay. For one, you can't make a blanket statement about a whole race. And then some guy gets on my YouTube channel talking about you do know that Muslims are the ones that sold you into captivity, into slavery. And I'm like, and then he had the nerve to say that Christians, because I was like, well, Christian is a very violent religion. He's like, Christians never killed a bunch of black people. And I just started to laugh. Like, what do you think is happening to us now? Who do you think these white police are? They're KKK members. What do you think KKK was based off of? Ku Klux Klan was based off of Christianity. What do you think the conquistadors did to the Indians in the Spanish Inquisition? They used the Bible to kill 87 million people and almost wiped them off the planet. And these are your so-called Hispanic and Mexicans, but they're not Hispanic and Mexican. They're Indians. Mexico is a country. Hispanic is a language. They are Indians. That's who they are. For somebody to even come out of their mouth with that, like Christians don't kill. Christians been killing people. Christians and the Moors have been fighting over churches for the longest time. Christians are killers. And the majority, listen, who do you think the Pope was? Who do you think the first Pope of Rome that started who's this dude? He started the whole going and conquering other lands, and he went and fought against Richard the Lionheart was a Christian. Saladin was a Christian. But anyway, so the Pope was like, I absolve you of all your sins. Go ahead and start the crusades. Do you know that even children had a crusade? They end up getting sold into slavery, and a lot of them got killed. But nonetheless, this is how many crusades went on. It wasn't just one crusade. Not to mention, when they went to the Holy Land, those people on their way there, when they would go past small towns that had nothing to do with them, they would kill the people and eat them just to make Saladin afraid. They were eating people. Christians with a big cross on. Christians. 14th century Christians. You know what I'm saying? 14th, 15th, and 16th century Christians. There were a lot of crusades. So cut it out with this whole more guns is going to cure stuff, because you guys been trying to get guns, the government to stop with the whole guns. But I got news for you. The government puts guns out on the streets, especially in black neighborhoods. They do it on purpose. Okay? There was a guy who did a whole excerpt about it, and he put it on World Star, and he talked about how he was a gangster in Chicago. And he said there would be crates of guns that would just pop out of nowhere. Okay, so listen, more guns is not the answer. You know what I'm saying? The gun laws are supposed to protect us, and the gun laws are failing. That's what's really going on. Because this man lives in Florida, where it's easy to get an AR-15, which is a very deadly weapon. It is an armor-piercing weapon. Okay, you have to have special jackets on so that AR-15 bullet doesn't go through your chest. I used to fire one. That's what they give you in the service. It is a standard issue M16 AR air-cooled rifle. That's what it is. On the street, it's an AR-15. Okay, so let's just cut it out with more guns. More guns isn't healing anything. You people are really nuts. You know that? You're so afraid that somebody's going to take away your weapon. You're like, give everybody weapons. But what has that done? What did it do for them people in Sandy Hook? How about Columbine? How about the Batman shooting? How about that? And now you got this guy who killed 50 people and injured 53. No, more guns is not the answer. It's just not the answer. If somebody else would have had a gun in the gay bar, then they would have been able to stop it. It's not the answer, people. It's not. And we know it's not the answer because there's more guns on the street this year than there's been last year and the year before and the year before and the year before. And it's still happening. Virginia Tech happened. 30 people, innocent people, gone. Okay? Okay? So it'll happen again later on this year. It'll happen again. Some in that case will be mad about something, and it will happen again. And you guys will come out with the same rhetoric. There should be more guns on the street. It's your boy Tone 202. I'm out.